Joining us right now in studio is Olympian John Shuster. Good morning.
Woo! Good morning.
So we were excited to have you here the first time around before you guys left. You were looking to raise some money to go off to South Korea, do your thing at the Olympics, and now here you are back, not only back, but back in celebratory fashion. You got a gold medal to show off, which is super exciting. And it's a great way to not only represent the country, the region, but here locally, all the folks that were cheering you guys on and watching on TV and all those things. And I guess my first question is, when you guys made your return to Duluth and got to the airport and saw the people waiting for you, what was your reaction to that?
That was probably like the most emotional part, actually, honestly, since the last shot stop, because that we just have such a huge connection in town and family and friends and honestly just the Northland in general. It wasn't just our family and friends welcoming us. It was there were a couple hundred people there. It was very, again, a little bit emotional and a lot of fun at the same time.
Now, you guys, on your flight back, there was some stories about some seat changes and stuff on the plane. I know that the airline was trying to apologize for saying sorry about the situation, but everything seemed to work out kind of interesting. And any details that haven't come out that you want to share about that? Or, I mean, I think the story's been told already, but.
No, it's, I mean, they were, Delta was unfortunately had their hands tied because every single seat on that entire plane was full.
Right.
Some nice guy from Florida traded me his first class seat for, actually it was even better. It was like one of those Delta 1 seats, which like lays down and full, whatever. But, but when we landed, we found out very quickly that Delta was not going to just let us fly around and coach. We got, basically escorted around the airports in Detroit and Minneapolis and driven to our planes, which Delta apparently has a Porsche service when you're a VIP that you just walk down and hop in this Porsche and they drive you right to your gate and you don't have to walk around the airport.
Nice.
So, found out about that. So.
So walk back a little bit. Let's talk about the games themselves. I know you've done the Olympics before, but what was your experience in South Korea? Tell us a little bit about that, and then kind of about the ramp up to those final couple games, how things were going in your minds as a team, and tell us about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, South Korea was a great host. Everything was pretty much brand new over there because the side of the country that we played on was recently developed, literally probably just for the Olympics, and it gave it a pretty big economic boost. Yeah, the people were nice. It was interesting having a bunch of North Koreans around there and their cheer squad, and in the gym, in the workout facility in the village. I think there's a few pictures documenting where I was sitting there spinning on a bike, and a couple of North Korean hockey players were spinning next to me. It was very probably as close as most Americans will ever get. So
Wow.
That was interesting. Again, there's people. So, but then the games themselves were, started out where we were spectators for a while, and then got on the ice finally and won our first game, and then kind of fumbled through the next few personally, and then decided to turn it around and rattled off 5 in a row against the top 4 teams in the tournament, and came home as the Olympic champions. Kind of a crazy little ride there.
Just an amazing story. Now, probably not something you're thinking about, but there's been lots of people. I know that some of the team have been talking to the folks down at KFan and some of the other radio stations regionally, and there's been lots of people saying there needs to be a movie made about you guys.
Yeah.
We don't really have a choice in that matter anymore. I would say there's a few aggressive individuals out there that are trying to get our life rights already.
Wow.
From the movier's perspective, and by a few I mean somewhere between the 10 and 20 range of groups of people that have contacted us.
That's
so
crazy.
Come on, hold out for that money. Hold out for that money.
If you had to pick somebody to play you, who would you pick?
Everybody keeps asking me this, but for me, I'm just like let the Hollywood types decide who it is. I just had word last night that Paul Rudd was trying to get a hold of me, so maybe he wants to play me. I don't know.
That's amazing. Woody Harrelson.
Come on now, he's a little old. I'm only 35.
Yeah,
Come on, Gene.
We need somebody. I mean, even Paul Rudd's getting maybe a little bit on the old side, but
yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, he is kind of older. I'm just looking at like your facial features. Okay, from like when White Man Can't Jump from that era.
A few years ago.
From that era, he could have played you, but not now.
So since you guys have gotten back, you guys have been just running like crazy, doing a whole big media tour all over the country. What would you say is the most interesting or strangest question you've been asked through your tour?
We haven't really gotten too many strange questions. We did an interview on 538.com, which is some I don't even know, but we went into their studio, and the main guy was actually on a flight that couldn't land in New York, and as we were in the middle of the interview kind of deal, and he was, piping in from, via the phone as we were in his studio, which is kind of funny. Somebody decided to tell him that he was being a little bit loud, and he got in a little bit of an altercation with somebody on the plane. So that was probably the most interesting thing that happened. I mean,
awesome.
it's not altercation like physical, but some guys started, swearing at him, and it was it was really funny.
Wow. Now, on the other side of that, what would you say? Because you guys have done a lot of things. You've done some TV. You did the puck ceremony for the outdoor game here. What would you say out of all those different things has been, and not only that, but just the whole experience since leaving South Korea? What's been your absolute favorite thing that you guys have experienced since then?
It was definitely that puck delivery thing. I mean, being in the Naval Academy and having there's a ton of patriotism surrounding that, and what you see on TV, and you could hear how loud the people were when they announced us and when we threw the actual rock. But we were out on the ice for probably a good minute and a half, 2 minutes there, and just incredible cheers because again we were walking around before and it seemed like everybody knew who we were, and they saw us on the ice and saw a rock kicking back and forth, and it was they were up there just going kind of insane and starting a bunch of USA chants and the whole thing, and it was they made us feel very, very special for probably the full 2 minutes we were on the ice. And then, as even after we threw the rock and then the Admiral did the puck drop, captains came, shook our hands, but then, TJ Oshie and the Northland Zone, Matt Niskanen, came over there, and they were just talking. They're just giant smiles and hooting and hollering and fist bumping us, telling us how cool they just thought that was. So
that's awesome.
So that whole experience was up there with like walking in opening ceremonies. It was just insanely awesome.
So is there anything? I mean, obviously you guys you've done the Olympic thing before. You guys have been on a world stage before at this level playing. I mean, not quite the gold medal level, obviously, but what's it like being somebody that is a known name regionally, but now you're known on such a national and worldwide level? What's that experience? I mean, what's going through your head after something like that?
It's hard to even put words to it. When we got to New York City, the first time we were standing there waiting for a car to pick us up to do our first thing when we were out there last week. Ty and I were standing there. It wasn't like it was our whole team. It was just the two of us standing there. And, probably in a 5-minute span, 10 people came up to us and knew who we were. And, again, were telling us congratulations and thank you, which is one of the weirdest things I think people were doing, was thanking us for what, we're doing and, trying to steal a selfie. And, and we threw these gold medals around a lot of necks while we were out there and had some fun with it. And, again, just doing our part to basically share this medal with America, and we let a lot of people know that fine, we won the medal and whatever, but when you get up on that medal stand, they say United States of America. So
right.
I mean, we strongly feel that these are something that belongs to all of us, not just us personally.
Sure.
Wow, that's awesome.
Super awesome. And I for anybody that doesn't know this, and I think the story's been told pretty well, but this is a first for curling, for the United States to bring home a gold medal like this, which is awesome. So, the fact that you guys have the ties locally, I know there's a lot of national pride, but I think just the parties that happened that night, that Friday night, Saturday morning, watching just the eruption in the area when you guys ended up winning, it's really amazing. It really is.
I just have one question for you, John. Did Kirstie Alley ever retweet you guys?
No, we had some back and forth with her after.
Congratulations, tweet.
Yeah, honestly, she was a good sport about it because she didn't realize when she said not to be mean, but curling is boring, that she was going to hit the venom of a lot of people other than curlers. And I mean, honestly, like we said, not to be, our PR person, which we didn't even know he was saying, not to be, mean, but a lot of your films weren't exactly whatever he said. And I mean, there was literally like on Twitter, you can have like how many impressions, so how many people essentially saw it or came up with their feed. With all the retweets and stuff going on, it was up to 4 million by the time she finally deleted the thread. So
she's like, "Oops!"
But then she was like, "Oh, my son likes curling, or whatever. We'll take you out sometime if we're out in LA." So it became all good. But apparently,
that's funny.
Good Morning America said that we won the internet during the Olympics. So
that's amazing.
So thanks to Price Atkinson, our guy who was running our social media, he won the internet during the Olympics, and then we also won the Olympics. It's kind of fun.
Oh,
I think it's totally. You guys are just like the U.S. hockey team, back in the day. I mean, I hope that there is going to be a movie made about you guys, and for your story to continue. And me being somebody not from this area, not from Minnesota, not knowing much about curling, it's like having met you and just kind of the whole steamroll of it. I think what it's done too is made people interested in the sport and wanting to try it out. And so I think that's, huge kudos to you guys and your team and the women's curling team. And, this is something I think curling is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. So one final question for anybody that did watch the Olympics, got inspired by you guys, and wants to get into curling. What is one piece of advice you can give somebody that wants to give it a try?
Honestly, is just to pick a random, even weekday night and head over to one of the local curling clubs, because Duluth Curling Club, Superior Curling Club, up in Two Harbors, up on the Iron Range, you have the up in Eveleth and Chisholm, Hibbing, Buell. The big listing area here, but to go walk down to a curling club on a weeknight when there's league going on, and somebody's obviously going to notice that it's an unfamiliar face and probably ask you, what's going on. And I don't know exactly what the learn to curl stuff going on is at all these clubs. However, I'm sure people within the club are always more than welcome to welcome new members, and I know there's room for bringing new people in pretty much all the clubs around. Duluth is really close to capacity, but for sure Superior and Two Harbors and the rest of them have room for people, and it's an awesome community, the community of curlers, and that's why I think when we came home it was so emotional,
right?
Because of that close community that we have within our curling clubs.
I'm just gonna say John Shuster sent me. Open the doors. Let me in.
I have a feeling that there's going to be a few more people that are dropping my name on their way into curling clubs, so it might not work as well as it used to.
Oh, darn.
I think it'll still work.
Well, John Shuster, gold medalist, thank you much for joining us this morning, and can't say enough how proud we are here in the area for what you guys did. It's super awesome. So thank you for coming in this morning, and I know you've got more of a media tour around the building here, so let you get to that.